So your marketing sucks. You're not getting very many results for your clothing brand and you're wondering, what should I do? How do I think about this differently? How do I do something differently to actually make this happen? Believe me, I know exactly how you're feeling and I know exactly how frustrating that is. Well, the purpose of this video is to try and help you from this place. I have some very powerful ways that I want you to think about marketing for your clothing brand that will likely shake things up for you, give you a new perspective, allow you to come back to your clothing brand with a true strategy that doesn't suck, that actually you feel confident in, and that will get you results for your clothing brand moving forward. So I really hope that you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd's a logo maker tool. You type in the name of the logo that you want to have made, hit enter, thousands of logos will come up. You choose the logo that you like, then you can edit and refine that logo as long as you want for free until it's perfect. This is a Hundo P design I made for my own clothing brand using BrandCrowd. If you're interested, head over to brandcrowd.com/apparel success and you can get up to 66% off at checkout. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make in marketing, especially when they're trying to build up an audience, is they view their small audience as being less valuable than a big audience. Maybe you're posting on YouTube and your video only gets 152 views. And you think, well, because it only got 152 views, it must have sucked. Nobody's thinking about it. Nobody cares about it. Well, 152 views is 152 people. That's 152 people that just saw your video. Imagine you were walking down the street and you were walking past 152 people. Like, that's a lot of people that you got your brand in front of. And what happens is a lot of people just undervalue that. Maybe those 64 people, 158 people, 225 people that are watching your videos on TikTok are actually super into your content and they want to do business with you and they're planning on doing business with you into the future. But because you think that they're not as valuable as a big audience, you decide to give up on your marketing strategies and you stop posting content, so they never see it again and they never end up buying from you. The lesson here is to value your audience no matter how big it is. You want to think about marketing in terms of building connections and caring about people rather than just trying to get in front of as many people as you possibly can. It sounds counterintuitive, but this is how you build a real fan base. There are plenty of people on social media who get in front of tens of thousands of people all the time, but nobody will ever want to do business with them. Nobody will ever want to work with them. And likely it's because they are just focused on reach and they're not actually thinking about building a connection. Whereas if you shoot your videos, if you make your videos and you say, wow, it doesn't matter if one person, 100 people, 1,000, 10,000 people watch this video, I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to treat them like I understand what they're going through and I'm going to deliver as much value as I possibly can. Well, those people feel that from you. They enjoy your content and they come back again and again every time that you post. They actually follow what you're doing and they're actually interested in what you're doing. And that's how you build up a real fan base from the beginning. I remember when I started up this YouTube channel on Apparel Success, I was only getting like 50 views, 100 views, just like anybody else who starts up a YouTube channel. But those people that I was talking to, I was genuinely trying to help them grow their clothing brand. And through doing that, they felt that off of me. They put the things that I was showing them in place and it helped them grow their clothing brand. And they've been following me for like 5, 6, 7 years on this channel. Even though the channel's kind of small, it's not absolutely massive. I don't have millions and millions of subscribers. I'm truly making an impact on the people that I'm trying to help out and that I'm caring for. And you don't have to watch these videos, you don't have to love it, but you want to make that connection with your audience and you want to think about that in terms of a one-on-one connection rather than a 1 to 100,000 and I hope one of them buys. Now, the other point that I want to make in this video that I think has the power to completely transform your whole marketing strategy is this question here, which is, what do you think the bare minimum you would have to do for your clothing brand right now when it comes to marketing in order to truly push the needle forward for your brand would be? Like, how many times a day would you have to post on TikTok and Instagram Reels where you just know intuitively if you did it and you stuck to it for 6 months, you just know that it would completely transform your clothing brand? Maybe your answer to that question is 3 times a day on TikTok and Instagram Reels. Maybe it's 10 times a day. Whatever it is, that should be your compass, that should be your goal and what you try and live up to and stick to for your brand. Because you know that if you stick to that and if you were to actually do it, that your clothing brand would truly flourish and it would thrive, and you'd be able to get so many more sales, and you'd be able to build up an audience really, really quickly. And what most people do with their marketing is they don't sit down and really think like, what could I do that would truly push this thing forward, that would like actually drive this thing to the moon? And if I actually did it, it would change the whole course of my clothing brand, and it would just make things absolutely insane. And then try and do that. Focus on that. Like, set the bar really high for yourself and try to achieve that. And I promise you that this is something that very few clothing brands do. And if you do this, it will give you a very serious competitive advantage in this space. It will give you a really unfair advantage. If you can be one of those few people who sets the bar really high and just attacks it and goes after it because you know that that's going to push your brand forward, and you stick to it for a really consistent amount of time, 3, 6 months, a year, and you just really, really stick with it, you'll notice that your brand truly starts to grow at that point. I know that Whole Strength, HOL Strength on TikTok and on Instagram, that's been his whole philosophy really with content, is putting out so much content that it would be really unreasonable for him to not gain any success for his brand, because he's pumping out so much content so regularly that's connecting with his audience that it wouldn't make any sense for his clothing brand to not succeed. And so that's just a fantastic way of looking at it. And the last point that I want to make in this video is that in today's day and age, you almost want to view your clothing brand as just a media company, because almost all of the marketing that you're going to be doing for your clothing brand, unless you're going to like pop-up events and that's the way that you're marketing your brand, or unless you're trying to get into retail and you're not doing social media, almost everything that you do for your brand is going to be media. And so you can let go and just literally think about media 24/7. Think about content 24/7 for your brand, because that's what's really going to be pushing your brand out there into the world. And if that's your main focus, then you're likely going to succeed in that area. Where attention goes, energy flows. If all of your attention is on creating the best content possible for your brand, doing it consistently, doing it regularly over a long amount of time, and creating a system around that at a rate that you know will push your clothing brand forward, then that's really should be your main goal. That should be the purpose of everything that you're doing, is to push your brand messaging out there and have fun with it and create a lot of content. So I hope that those ideas really help spark some new ways of thinking about your clothing brand, and it really just kind of shocks you into realizing how much work this really takes, number one. And I hope that you just get amazing results for your brand. So I hope that helps.